It's on the replay. Nice to know you're here. Have a look down there. Put your name down there. Let me know you're watching because we've got some things to talk about this evening, and I think it's going to be a good one. So how's your week been? It's pretty cold here in the UK, but not compared to other countries, I have to say. It's been, what can I say, wet. It's been wet the last few days. Uncomfortably wet, in fact. So wet that my door is swollen. And it's so hard to get it open these days. It's a real weird situation to be in. So I'm just checking on here now. I'm going to look up onto my screen so I can get a chat room up for when you come along and you join in. And if you're here tonight, I've got a question for you. What are your good, bad, and odd moments from last week? Because I've had a few. I've got to tell you about some later on. But before I go too far in depth on anything today, I just want to pass on my condolences to Deb out of Coffee Walks and whatever, because Deb's brother passed away suddenly this week on the 9th. And I'd just like to pass my condolences on. I don't expect she's going to see this tonight. Obviously, I don't expect her to be watching DVDs or anything like that. I expect that she'll have her own things to sort out. And so I don't expect to see them in the chat room today, but that's something that normally happens. And that's all I can really say about that. I hope you've had a good week. Tammy, how are you? I'm glad to see you here. Yeah, it's been one of those weeks, isn't it? It's not been great. I've got a few ideas that I want to share with you in this live stream. I've got a video coming out on the 14th. You may have seen it already. Not the video, but you may have seen the comments I made about it. I did a community post about it the other day. And I've done a video called On This Day. And what it basically is the top 10 records in the UK chart on this day, on the 14th of January. But it's not just from one year. It's spread throughout different years. There are 10 songs on there. And I also talk about what was going on at the time, just to let you know where you actually were. Do you know what I mean? And that's coming out on Wednesday. Today, of course, is a normal Monday. And so if you're signed up to the newsletter, you should have it by now. It's as simple as that. Thanks to all of the new subscribers to the newsletter that's picked up this week. And if you haven't joined it yet, now's a good time to do it. If you're watching, then get yourself in the chat room because they're a friendly bunch in there, you know. And if you're on the replay, don't forget, let me know you're here. I want your good, your bad, and your odds for this week. That's something we can talk about in a bit. Now, let me have a look. What I've got to tell you. You're aware of the health situations that have been going on. Hi, Chris. How are you? Good to see you. You all know about my health situation. I've finally got an appointment to go to the hospital. I'm going on the 23rd of this month, and that's when I should get my sleep test thingy. So they'll spend a night monitoring me. That'll be weird, wouldn't it? So we've got that coming up, and then I've got to go back on the 27th to get some results from that. So, yeah. Chris Pomfret in Scarborough. I watched a telly programme last night where there were a couple from Scarborough on it, and it showed you all the seafront, and that looks rather nice there, doesn't it? Having not been to Scarborough, it's nice little view. Looks rather nice along that front there. Right, let's have a look. What have I got to talk about? Well, to be honest, not tons. It's been a weird week. I might as well give you my good, bad, and the odds now, because what I'm going to talk about in a minute goes on with a bit of that. Now, the good things that happened last week. Do you remember I showed you the memory sticks that have got going for in my PC? Well, we got them all done. That was the good. However, there's some bad, because I found out during the course of this week that I bought one thing and actually got another. Because I bought, this is a bit techie and I don't understand myself, I bought 32 gig of RAM at a speed of 3,200 megahertz. What I actually got was 2.4 megahertz, 2,400. And so my computer is now working slower than it was before. And so I'm going to have to send them back and see about getting it all done again. Nice seafront cafe. There is nothing like going to a cafe on the seafront, is there? Especially where we used to go to the nearest seaside to us here is a place called Felixstowe. And we used to go there in the winter when it was really cold and when the rain was blowing and the sea was all coming up, because I love it when it's like that. And there used to be a cafe on the seafront right opposite it. And we'd go in there and have some breakfast. And then we'd just walk along the front. We did it one Boxing Day. And we got absolutely soaked. And the funny thing about it is, I know somebody who's got a snack bar down by the pier there. And we walked out to him for a cup of coffee. And he went, "What are you doing here on a day like today?" Because it was awful. So, yeah. Seafront cafes are great, aren't they? I have to say that this year, I've not really been to the coast much. I think I've only been once. This year just gone, I mean. So I'm gonna try and remedy that along the way. So yeah, anyway, I've done the good and the bad, but here's the odd one. Are you ready for this? This is a letter that I received because it had been torn. So it's in a bag. It was sent to me on the 18th of December and it got here on Saturday. And the only problem with it is it was a Christmas card from my son. And he said there was a Nando's voucher inside for about 50 quid. The only problem is that all I got in this package is an empty envelope, which tells me two things. One, it took nearly a complete month to get from Weymouth, which is 200 miles away, to me. And the second thing it tells me is that there's some thieving git who works for the post office who took my Christmas card, took the Nando's voucher, but sent the envelope. What a complete waste of time. They sent me an envelope. How odd is that? You just wouldn't, do you, would you? You wouldn't bother. I think this, actually, having the envelope is kind of like rubbing it in. Because if they hadn't given me this, I would have just thought to myself, oh, well, it got lost. But it didn't get lost because it turned up, which tells me that I don't know how it managed. My son could have walked the 200 mile to me and delivered this by hand in the time it's taken to get here. It's disgusting. It should have got here the next day or at least one day afterwards. But no, that was my odd thing. I actually had two odd things this week. And the reason I had two odd things was, I don't know if this has happened to you, but it certainly happened to me. We were watching telly the other night and a tune come on the telly, on the program we were watching, and it was Jonathan Richman's Egyptian Reggae from 1977. And I said to my wife, wow, Debs, I love that record. I haven't heard that for ages. How nice is it to hear it? And I thought that was really good. And then the next day, is it OJ or Deb? Nice to see you. I didn't think I'd see you tonight, to be honest. Early on in the video, I've sent you a message. So if you want to have a look at it tomorrow or something. When the replay goes up, you can. I nearly forgot where I was then. So I was telling you, I watched this program and this tune was in it. I'm saying how much I loved it, and I haven't heard it for ages. And then the next day, it came on the radio. Now, I haven't heard it for absolutely ages at all. And then it comes on the radio. And then the day after that, I was watching an old Top of the Pops, and it came on again. So a record that I haven't heard in about 20 years, I heard it 3 times in 3 days. Does that seem a bit odd? Certainly does to me. Now, as I said at the very beginning of this, tonight I'm a bit stuck because I don't know what to talk about. I haven't really. I normally come in here with this list of things that I want to talk about, but to be honest, I've got this and this, and it looks like a lot, but it isn't. Now, good, bad, and odd. One of our viewers on the channel, Tiffany Tabor, said that she had a good and a bad, but not an odd this week. But I'll share it with you anyway. She got good was she got some more movies. So I take it she's been out buying DVDs or Blu-rays or something. And the bad was that she got a big doctor's bill, which that's not so good, is it? So that have you in the chat room got a good, bad, and odd? Now, you don't have to take part in this, Debs and OJ. Steve, how are you? Good to see you in here. I didn't realise you dropped yourself into the room. The DVD. What am I talking about? I'm completely losing it because I've just talked about DVD. The video going out on the 14th is going to be one that I think you might well like. I had great fun doing it. I have to say, I had great fun doing it. And what was really good is that no one claimed copyright on any of the music. So every single song that I wanted to be in the video is actually featured. So we've got a bit of every song, which is really, really good. And I'm pleased about that. Now, I was watching a couple of videos on YouTube, and 2 subjects came up that I thought were worthy of just chatting about. The first one was I watched a video today, and they were talking about their purpose. And they were explaining that for most of us, that with a purpose, our purpose basically is to put food on a table, keep ourselves warm, and have a roof over our heads. That's purpose for most people. But then this person was talking about taking it a step further and actually trying to contribute to your communities. And there are lots of ways that you can do that. Hi, Toby, how are you? And there's lots of ways you can do that. And what this person was talking about was really simple things. And it was just making a little difference in your part of the world. And what she was saying was that you could do it in any way. It's just doing something to make someone's day a bit better. For instance, you can be in a supermarket or a shop or something and see someone stretching to get something off of a high shelf that they can't reach, and you can just pick it up and give it to them to save them stretching. Really something silly, something simple. And then she said, and I've said this before, so I'll totally agree with this. When you're about on your daily doing what you're doing, when you come in to see up the street and you meet someone as you walk past them, give them a big smile, because maybe your smile will be the only one they see today. And it is really all about that. I like the thought that you're doing something just a little bit different. And in the village here, we often see people walking around with little picking up things, little grips, and they'll pick up and collect rubbish around the outside of the village. And it's doing something for somebody else, isn't it? It's making your little part of the world better. And I kind of hope that that's what I do with this channel. Making the world better for someone. It kind of, you can do your little bit. It only has to be something really simple, to be honest. But it gives you a good feeling, you know. I'm going to tell you something that happened to me last year that goes along the same thing. And I don't for 1 minute think that I'm saying this to gain credit with everybody, because I'm not. But it's the kind of thing that can make something very different. I was in a post office in a queue to go to the counter to pay for something. I was sent a letter or something, I supposed. We've had some extra people in. Hi, James. How are you? Project Weaver. Good evening, sir. To you as well. I was in a post office queuing for something, and the man in front of me was at the counter, and he was trying to get, he had one of those electricity cards that you put money on it and can plug into the electric. And he was struggling because he wanted to put electric on. When he went to pay them with his card wasn't working. And they kept trying and they kept trying and they kept trying. And he couldn't get it going, couldn't get it. So he couldn't get any electric. And he said, my electric's gone out. And if I don't get some today, I'm going to be all weekend without getting it. So as he walked out, I paid for my whatever I was doing. I think he was sending like that. I paid for the stamp and that and followed him out. And he was still stood outside when I walked out. And I said to him, what was your problem? I think I get it. I saw you talking to the one. Is there anything I can do to help? And he went, not unless you've got some money. Because he said, I've got no electric, so it means I can't warm any water up, I can't do anything. So I said, how much is it going to cost you to put some electric on there to get you over the weekend? And he went, £10. And I opened my pocket, had some money on me, and I give him 20 quid and go and get yourself some electric. Now, the look on this man's face was one of huge relief. And it was 20 quid. It was something I could afford. I wouldn't have done it if I could, obviously. But it left me thinking that I'd actually done something worthwhile that day. Whatever happened for the rest of the day, I'd done something worthwhile. And it reminds me of the purpose. I've talked about this before. I started this channel trying to leave some advice and give some optimism and some encouragement to my two boys. It's grown since then, and different things have added. And you're all there for start. I never expected in the beginning. And I hope that this does one of my little bits in my little corner of the world, where sometimes I can talk about something and help somebody. Now, I don't take a load of credit for that, because 20 quid isn't a lot of money if you've got it, and I had it. And so it wasn't anything that I was worried about giving to somebody. But knowing that someone was going to spend a weekend at home with no electric kind of makes you a bit sad, doesn't it? It must be terrible. Now, he didn't look as though he was a well-off man. Do you know what I mean? It didn't look like he probably never had enough money in his account, if the truth was known. But I don't know that. But hell, if you can't do that sometime, then what sort of a person are you? That's all I'm saying. And I think if you want to contribute to the world and make something nicer for the world, because you can't, I live in a country where there is uproar going on, all political rubbish, which you know I don't talk about. but people do, and they do it, and there are all this online keyboard warrior stuff. That I don't care about, because I can't control anything that happens big, but I can control the stuff that's happening around me. And I just thought it was a nice thing to do. I didn't think of it as something like a superhero, because on the other side of that coin, the reason I did it, let me tell you a little story going back away when I was skinned, when we lost our business and everything. My dad died. He had a heart attack one morning. Well, it wasn't one morning, it was the middle of the night. He'd come back from a party, had a heart attack and died. And at the time, we had no money. And I had to drive, I wanted to go up, obviously we'd go up, see my mum and dad. They were 100 miles away from me. And I had no petrol. And what's more, I had no money. And I couldn't figure out how we were going to do it. And then I went to my next door neighbour, knocked on their door, explained the situation and asked if I could borrow £10 to put petrol in my car. And they gave me it. And so I can remember the relief that I felt at the time. And that kind of, if you remember having been in that thing, in that position yourself, and someone's done it to help you, then it's nice to pay it back. And God, I'm getting a bit serious here, aren't I? Hi, Dazzle, how are you? So that was one thing I saw on, this has all come about because I saw this video today. And then yesterday I was watching video and someone was on about celebrity culture. And they were saying about newspapers are full of celebrity news, and the things on the front page are often stuff about celebrity. And I don't buy a newspaper. I haven't bought one for years because, once again, I don't like having stuff shoved down my throat, if the truth's known. And so we don't do that. But I notice that I don't know. I have no idea about celebrity culture in this day and age. I don't watch. We have a program called Strictly Come Dancing. In America, it's Dancing with the Stars and whatever. And we don't watch it anymore. We used to, but we sort of grew it. But I always look to see who's going to be on it and who's in the jungle, that get me out of here, that thing. Do you know what I mean? And when they tell you who's in there, I never know 80% of the people that's in there, the celebrities. I don't understand the culture where celebrities have become so important. I suppose that it's always been important. I'll just show you something. Right, celebrity culture has always been there. See, this is backwards, I know. This is Peter Noble's picture parade of 1952. And so it's basically got photos of all these film stars and things. So I take it there's always been this celebrity culture thing. And I kind of get it with film stars, but I don't understand when they were talking about someone, an influencer or something, on the jungle thing this year. And it's like, who is it? He'll probably make a lot of money out of it. I see things on telly now where people who are in things like Gogglebox have become big celebrities and they're getting lots of different things. Do you know what I mean? They're getting lots of work in that. But everybody will watch them and follow what they do. Well, a lot of people do. And they think it's so important that they'll follow anything that they do. I think the perfect example, I suppose, has got to be the Beckhams. They're like royalty, but they're not. she was a pop star, he was a footballer. That's it. It's weird, isn't it? That's it. You've got it, Chris. Famous for being famous. I don't understand the culture. It's never worked for me. No, I'm sorry, I've been rambling. I know. Let me just have a look back here. Thank you, Mr. Weaver, sir. It's I wasn't doing it to try and be clever. I was just using it as an example with what happened to me years ago. I just thought it was worthy of a little mention. Epic Cyber Gamer Punk. Have you ever tried video games before? Well, truth is, I used to own an amusement arcade. My parents owned them, and we had video games in the arcades. So, yeah, but long time ago. And to be honest, having had an amusement arcade and having videos around me for a good 10, 15 years, they don't interest me that much. I understand why people are interested in them, because when we had them in the arcade, I used to play on them a bit myself. But no, I don't anymore, but I have done, yes. Sorry, Deb, I didn't see your message up there. I've just spotted it now. It's going to come to me as well at some stage. What was my favourite coin back in the day? Everybody loved Double Dragon. I didn't mind it. I loved Asteroids. Coming Forward, I like the hard driving game. With one of them sit-down hard driving games, I like that as well. We had some good games. Gauntlet, Space Invaders. I remember when we had the Space Invaders was black and white, but on the screen, on the mirror, you had 3 different colours of like different coloured tape, I suppose you could call it, stuck to it. So when you were sitting there and you were shooting the things, it was going through it and changing colour, but it was really just black and white. I think so too. I agree with you. I don't know. I'm going to imagine that's OJ. Might possibly be Deb. I don't know. Yeah, I think when you were playing an arcade game, stood up with a joystick and pressing the buttons is much better. I've seen my kids playing on that, and my thumbs don't do it. I'm very much one of them kind of guys. so that's where I stand on that. Good, bad, odd. Anyone got any good, bad odds for me? Space Invaders was, Steve. It was actually just after. It was just when we came away from Burnham-on-Sea, when we had the arcade, that we started getting videos come out. I mean, we had pin tables was our thing, and that, yeah, tilting a pin table. Rainbow Islands. Well, I haven't heard about that for years. Yeah, that's right. They were proper celebrities. For anyone who's just watching and seeing me looking over that way, that's where my chat room is. But when you look at these things like this, I bought these years ago. But I mean, look, Doris Day looks like a star, doesn't she? This is that was 1951, 1952. They look like proper stars. Celebrities days don't look like that, I'm afraid. I can sit here all night now. I've picked it up, but I've got a few of these. I went to a car boot sale about 5 years ago, and there was a whole pile of these like that, and I just went and got them. So I've got loads of them up here, and every now and again I'll pull them out and have a look. We love Doris Day too. Doris Day is our Christmas Day film in the afternoon. We always watch Calamity Jane. It's become a little tradition for us. Now, I've been thinking about this, and I don't know whether to do it or not. I did it years ago. I did a thing called a vision board. And today, funnily enough, I watched someone doing a vision board on their channel, and it made me think about it and actually what I'd like to do and what if I should do one or not. I always found that when I did a vision board, the things that went on it, I either got them or got close to them. Whereas if I hadn't had it, I wouldn't have got close to them at all. So I'm thinking about doing one. As I've said to you, I'm going to try and do things a little bit differently on the channel this year. And so I was thinking about doing a vision board and letting you guys know what my plans are for the year. I've come up with little bits of it today, and for instance, I've got targets I'd like to hit on YouTube. The main one being money, of course, because like I said, I'll be a pensioner at the end of the year, so my money's going to drop. So I'm going to do that, but I'm going to do a vision board, and I'll talk about things that I'd like to achieve over the course of the year. I was going to make a video about it because I think it'd be kind of something different, and also it makes me then have to do it, doesn't it? If I show you guys and put it on a video, you can make me push to do it and achieve the things that I want to do this year. Because if I don't, then you can call me out, can't you? Sometimes it's nice to get pushed. What else have we got here? No, that's about it. I thought that we're only 31 minutes into this, and I've run out of things to talk about. It's terrible. I thought, you know what? I always think I've got prepared, and I think I said to myself, right, I'll sit down here. I'm going to do this. This is one of my jobs. I'm going to have to do this weekend. So yesterday I sat down and I was trying to write things down about what I was going to watch. Oh, I'll tell you what I did do yesterday. Thursday, yeah, grew up listening to. I think lots of people did. Yesterday, I actually had a kind of afternoon off. I don't very often. I'm always doing something. But yesterday, I sat in front of the telly. Now, I'm probably one of the few people who's never seen Mission Impossible. It's hard to believe, isn't it? I've never seen any of the Mission Impossible films. Well, it was on telly a few weeks ago, so I still say I taped it, but you don't anymore, you know. So I recorded it, and I've got it on a little player that I can watch it back. And then last week, when I was going through all them other DVDs, I saw Mission Impossible 2 there, so I watched them both yesterday afternoon, and they were all right. They weren't bad. I'm not an action film kind of guy. I'm much more cerebral. I like a film with a good story to it. The action don't generally do it for me, but they was all right, and it was I whiled away a couple of hours, which was good. What good films have you seen of late? I told you last week that I watched Life is Beautiful. That was quite good. That was one of the DVDs, because I've got so many DVDs now that I've got to go back to. I really should. I should. A doctor once said to me that I needed to relax more, and I'm not very good at relaxing. I find it very hard to sit still and stay in the same place too often, and so I don't get much time to watch films. I don't watch tons of telly, to be honest. We watch a few hours of a night time, and I fall asleep. It's a terrible thing to say, but it's like, when this is all finished, I'm going to go down and have my dinner, because dinner wasn't ready by the time I was going to start this. And so I'll go down and have my dinner, and I'll sit down and put the telly on, and I'll be gone. I'll be soundo. I'll be asleep in no time at all. Manchurian Candidate, is that the Denzel Washington one, or the other version, the original one? Because that was brilliant. I did like the Manchurian Candidate. Steve, I've never seen the 60s series of Mission Impossible, I'm sad to say. Although I have just started watching the 60s series of The Man from U.N.C.L.E. That's just started showing on one of the British TV channels, funnily enough. So that was good. The original one, is that the one with Frank Sinatra? I'm just trying to think. I think it's Frank Sinatra's in it. There's been about 3 film versions of that film, and I think the original was way back in time. Bell, Book and Candle with James Stewart. I haven't seen that. I don't even know that one, Chris. Yeah, it is Frank Sinatra. I thought it was. I've seen there are 3 to my knowledge Manchurian Candidate films. Yeah, I bought on DVD a while back, about 4 or 5 years ago, when the lockdown was on. I bought the 5 Man from Uncle films on DVD. They were really good, so I enjoyed that. You've been watching Chicago PD from the start. There's a lot of them types of things, aren't there? There's did they have like a fire brigade one and a hospital one as well? The one I liked with Chicago in was back in the early 90s, I think. Was it called Chicago Hope? I enjoyed that. I thought that was a good program. We're back watching ER again. We watched the first episode of series 10 last night, and I find that really watchable. Really watchable. "13 seasons of what? OJ or Debs?" I've lost myself here. But there was some great stuff. I'm this year I'm going to try and watch more telly and watch more films because I've got so many now. I've got so many that I haven't seen yet. I kind of want to get into watching them again because I have to put one in the afternoon, because after 6 o'clock I'm no good to anybody. I'll sit there and I'll go to sleep and miss half of whatever I'm watching, and then Debs will wake me up to go to bed. Have I watched Brothers and Sisters? I don't know that one at all. Who's in it? Chicago Med. Yeah, I knew that. I thought that was one. I haven't seen Brothers and Sisters. I don't know that one, I'm afraid. I love it when you come up with these new things for me go out and have a look at. What we should do one night, I know it's really hard to do, is all watch a film together. I've seen someone else do this a while ago. They found a time when something was on the telly, or it was a Netflix or a Disney Plus or thing, and everybody got together, had the live stream on, got a drink, and they was watching the telly while they was having a drink and chatting to each other in the chat room. I thought it was a really good thing. I'd love to. I'm not techie enough to be able to do it. I think they used Zoom, and everyone logged on Zoom, and they had like a drink and they had their sweets, and they watched this film, and everyone watched it at the same time. So they were all going through the same parts of the film at the same time. They was all chatting about it. I thought that was really, really good. I don't know how to do it, but it'd be a nice thing if you could get around to do that at some time. Do you find, Chris, that you don't like hospital dramas because everything, you know it all so well, and they never can film it properly? Because I feel like that whenever I see a film about a fairground, and I look at them and I watch the film, and nobody I know is ever like anybody in the films. Their lack of knowledge about the industry is always ridiculous. Their safety in the films is always rubbish. And I look at it, and it's one of them where you just go, "Oh God, I hate that." And I remember once watching a London's Burning episode where a ride fell to pieces during the evening, and I knew the owner of the ride, and we had a war over it, because I said you should have never allowed them to use your ride on this program because it makes us look bad. We had an absolute war over it. Long time ago. It must have been mid-80s. And I hate seeing fairground stuff because it's always portrayed wrong. And I think that must be the same for anyone who gets a film made about their industry that they're in. It must be awful. But I love ER. I love the speediness of it. I love the way that you'll have one camera shot and they're going from through one ward, through another room, and everything. And everything's always really fast paced. I always feel tired at the end of it. That's why I love ER. And I think, I don't know, we like that sort of program. I remember years ago, used to watch Casualty and Holby City years ago. But I can also remember as a little kid watching Emergency Ward 10, or was it 11? It was one of them when I was a real little kid, when I was 5 or 6. There used to be one called, I'm sure it was Emergency Ward 10. Someone here will know. Now, what else are we looking at here? The Brothers. I watched The Brothers, Steve, on TPTV last year. They started putting The Brothers back on. But Brothers and Sisters, it's got Callista Flockhart. I didn't know that she'd ever done anything other than Ally McBeal. Well, I'll have to have a look out for that one. Now, if you're in the chat room, if you're watching the replay about that, there are a couple of things you can do today. Good, bad, and odds. Let me know down there what's been good in your week, what's been bad, and what's the odd thing that's happened to you. And join in this conversation. If there's films and things that you've watched that you think are good and you'd like to share, put them down below, because there's no doubt that if I come across them, I'll probably pick them up and end up watching them too. Rookies. I don't know that one either. If it is that on one of the streaming channels? Because I no longer have them. I've still got Prime. I've still got Amazon Prime because I do a lot of shopping with Amazon, and we had that before they ever had the channel. So we have that, but we don't really look at it very often. So if I don't tend to watch a lot of streaming things, especially I wouldn't now with the adverts in them. I hate that idea. I hate the idea of having to pay for a channel and then pay more to watch it. Well, now, what's now? Is that a telly channel? I don't know that one, Chris. I'm so out of the loop with these things, you know. It's because I don't pay attention to them, because I don't have them anymore. And I kind of walked away from that. It's a bit like Facebook. I walked away from Facebook in August now, and I haven't been on there to see what's going on or talk to anybody on there since then. It's like a different world. I forget all about it. And reminds me something else that I was thinking about. When you do something like that, I was thinking about it the other day. When I came away from Facebook, it's like everyone forgets you after a week. No one remembers who you are, you know. And even friends of mine, I think in the time that I've been away from it, Facebook, I think I might have had 4 people who were friends of mine on Facebook that have got in touch with me. And when you consider that I used to have 5,000 friends on there, which was the most that you could have for a long time. And when I stopped doing radio, I lost loads like that, because people, it'd be like this. If I came off of YouTube, in 2 weeks, you'd all forget who I was, and I'll never be thought of again. It's just one of those facts of life. When I was doing radio, I had shows used to go out in 64 countries and territories at one stage, and I had 5,000 people, and they used to get in touch with me all the time, you know. And people would come to you and they would talk to you about stuff, and they'd all come and ask me stuff about records and music and that. And then when I had to have time off to get my kidney sorted, I had 3 months off, and my shows, which had been really well followed, suddenly were getting nobody compared to what I used to get. And it's because as soon as I went for 5 minutes, everyone went and found their fix somewhere else. And so it's a good job I have no real feeling that I felt that I'm important because I've done anything. Because doing that and losing thousands of listeners when I was on radio, it just made me realise it was one of them things that makes you realise that you're not the important person, the music is. And it's the same with this, really. We all chat and it's great and that, but if I went missing, I bet none of you, after about 2 weeks, you'd forget who I was. And it's just how the world is. There'll be another James to replace me at some stage. But fear not, because I'm going nowhere. Right, who have I not caught up with? E-Border. Hello. Didn't know you was in the room. Ryan Mixtape. Hello to you as well. Let's have a look. Yeah, I get that, Chris. Losing a lot of friends when you lost the business. I'll tell you what. Did you find that when you lost your business, Chris, did all of your friends kind of desert you because they didn't know what to say? Because I've had that happen. I've had that happen a couple of times because, like I said, I've failed a lot of times. I've lost 2 businesses over the years, and so you kind of come up against that. When I left my first wife, when our marriage dissolved, I lost tons of friends then too. I had people who I'd known for years walk the other side of the road rather than actually face me. I've seen people walk towards me, spot me, and cross over the other side of the road and walk down the other side because they didn't want to talk to me. But it's just life. It's quite entirely their problem. If people didn't want to talk to me, it's not my problem. If you like me, it's great. If you don't, that's great too, because there's lots of people to be friends with, aren't there? And I'm no different. And I know I'm saying this like it's blasé, but there are people I don't like who've never done any harm to me. I just don't like them, and I don't know why. It happens, and it's a real weird thing, you know. I used to read books by somebody called Robert Kiyosaki, and he talked about money and how to grow money and all that sort of stuff. And I loved his books, and I used to read his books and think he was brilliant. And then I saw him interviewed on the telly, and he came across like some arrogant guy that I really didn't like. And since then, I never bothered reading his books again. So it's easy to take a perception of somebody like I did with him, and I could possibly be miles wrong, but it's just how I felt at the time. It's weird though, isn't it? It's really weird how people's perceptions change. And when you think, what I like about it, there's this thought that just come to me about why I actually like it like that. And when I was doing really well with my radio stations and that, and they were going all over the world, the fact that when I was off for 2 weeks, or 2 months rather, 3 months, when I was off for that amount of time and I lost them all, it was a great thing because it didn't upset me, which made me think that I didn't have a big sense of self-importance, because I never have had, really. But you know what I mean? At one time, up until I was 55 and started feeling comfortable with myself, before then, that would have wrecked me. The fact that people suddenly didn't want to know would have wrecked me. If I'd have been doing radio, well, I was doing radio at 55, but had it been younger in my life, I might well have got really upset over it, because I know I was one of them, you know. I was a yes person. Would always, if someone asked me to do something, I'd always say yes, whether I wanted to or not, because I didn't want to upset people and I didn't want to lose a friend, perhaps. I was one of them, and I was terrible for it. I did it for years, trying to say yes to everybody because I wanted to be nice to people, because I wanted to have a friend. And the great thing is, you know, that at 55, when I started to feel comfortable in my own skin, none of that seemed to matter anymore. If you don't like me, that's fine. I don't care, because I haven't got the problem with it. I'm happy with who I am, so I don't worry about whether people like me or not. And I'm sure many of you feel exactly the same. It's a real weird thing, isn't it? How we change along our lives and change about how we think about things. But I'm really glad that I haven't developed this ego that's given me a head that can't fit through the door. Because I'd be really upset, because especially not doing this, because I absolutely lose subscribers every day. Since this has been on, we've been on here for 50 minutes and 52 seconds, right? And I've lost 2 subscribers in the time we've been on here, because I can see it up there. So it's nothing, you know. It's really nothing. It's I kind of feel that if you take your eyes off of yourself and look to help other people, that it kind of frees you from that. And someone said to me years ago, and they were right, what people think of you is none of your business. And that's true, isn't it? What people think of you is none of your business. If they don't like you, that's none of your business. The only thing you can do in your life is try and be the best you that you can be. And my mum always drummed that into me when I was a kid. Try and be the best you that you can be. And I've never, ever been in a battle with somebody to try and be better than somebody else. I've never, ever done it. And I think it was because of the way I was brought up. My mum was so wise. She was a wise woman who laughed like Muttley out of Dastardly and Muttley. But it's funny. You are the person you are because of the way you brought up. I do believe. I was very lucky that my dad prepared me for later life when I was young. He said to me once, people don't mind you getting on until the stage where you start getting on in front of them. And I found that to be true so often. And it just kind of puts you in a position where you understand how the world is. I've never been envious of anyone. I've never been jealous of anyone. I've never coveted the stuff that other people want. It's never been something that's probably why I haven't become rich and famous, because I've never chased all those things. Don't get me wrong, I've had businesses and I've always wanted to do better. And I've wanted to be more secure for my family and whatever. But that's no different to anybody else. We all want the best for us. And the problem I find is that there are so many people out there who will be nice to your face and then go around the back of you and talk to somebody else and just run you down. And what is the point of it? I can remember a time when 2 of my friends had fell out and they were arguing over something. And both of them tried to get me to take sides. And I refused to do it because I hadn't fell out with either of them. I didn't have a problem with either of them. They had the problem. They needed to sort it, not me. And so I know they both got kind of upset with me because I wouldn't fall into their side. But that's not the way I am. And I don't think you should be. It's really weird, you know, this evening, because I've kind of to meet up somewhere where we just have a chat, really, isn't it? I tried to make this live stream a bit of fun where we have a bit of a chat. And I've talked about 3 things tonight that I would never think about talking of in the live stream. But so it's done. I need some ideas. I'm running out of ideas for what I can do for video. I want to get out and about more, but at the moment, my health isn't good enough to do that. There's no possibility of going out. You know, like when I used to go and do the walkie-talkie videos and that. I can't do that at the minute because I just haven't got the health good enough to do it. But I've got some ideas, but I need some more. I kind of have this idea that I should really film a video the minute I think of the idea, because that's when I feel best about it. If I leave something a couple of days, I'm pretty rubbish at it when I go back to it. So I kind of like to get someone called it front end loading. Do it as quickly as you can when you get whatever it is. Do it as quickly as you can so that you're there and you don't fall behind on it. The first time I think I heard of it was when I was a kid at school, and they used to talk about homework, because I was one of them that always left it to the last possible minute and did it as quickly as I could at the end. And someone just said to me, I can remember, they said, front end load it, do it quickly at the beginning and get it out of the way. Then you haven't got to chase after it at the end. And that's something that makes a lot of sense. And it does it in lots of things that I do, except for the YouTube, where I sometimes like think, what am I going to do next? I'm just having a quick look up there. I'm not visiting a senior centre, James. I'm not that old yet. I may be old in years, but in the head I ain't there yet. I know where I'm going to do that. The trouble is, and let me ask you this question, right? It's nearly to the hour. Let me finish on this kind of question. When you look in the mirror, do you see the person looking back at you, or do you see a much younger version? And when you're thinking, do you think at the age that you are, or if you're my age, I'm 65, do you think about when you were 25? Because I still think I'm 25. I still think I'm 25. I don't think that I'm this age. The only time I think I'm this age is when I go, right? The other thing is, you know, when it amuses me quite a lot, I look on YouTube and it's full of gurus, people who know it all. Now, I suppose people could say that about me when I do my videos. But what I find really funny is when you're 25 to 30 and you come on here and you're telling everybody about the ways of the world and what they need to do and how they need to do this and need to do that from your vast experience. Because at 25, I was thick. I wasn't very clever. When I was 25, I thought I knew it all. But when I got to 40, I realized I knew pretty much nothing. And the most things that I've learned in life that have come back to me, yeah, I learned things along the way, but I didn't learn the wisdom from them when I was 25. And you get all of these people on here, and it makes me laugh because they all know everything and they come across so worldly wise. But I just think that in my 20s, I knew nothing. Man, I got married at 21. What a fool. The things that you do when you're young. Even at 50, I thought I should be wiser by now. I'm still do. I find that I'm still learning something new pretty much every day. I don't think you ever stop learning. And I think that you've got to be open to the fact that you don't know it all. I don't think I know it all. Some people are smarter at their age. I wasn't one of them. When I was 25, I wasn't one of them. I can assure you, I was stupid. Don't get me wrong. I was running a business at 25, and I had fairground equipment, and I worked for my mum and dad from when I was a kid, so I kind of had the idea of that. But actually, for knowing what I was doing, I don't think I did. I think I was, what's that saying? Winging it. I think I've done that for pretty much 55 years of my life. Oh, still, it's all good fun. We've come to the end of the evening. Thank you so much for being with me. I'm sorry I've got all serious for a few minutes there. I kind of like it when we have we should all come with a drink and have a beer or something while we're chatting, because that's what's it. That's the fun of it. Probably why you went bankrupt. I lost my business, and I don't mean to say I'm bitter, because losing my first business sort of wised me up a bit. I lost my first business because I trusted someone I shouldn't have done with it, and came right unstuck. So I never got the one thing that happened, which you just said it about going bankrupt. I spoke to my dad at the time, and he said to me, sell everything you've got and don't be bankrupt. He said, he went to me, whatever you do, don't go bankrupt, because it's so hard to get back and do what you're doing and starting again. Banks, you lose your reputation. He said that was the biggest thing. If you lose your reputation, you've pretty much lost everything. And so I kind of listened to that. Thanks, Steve. Andy, don't worry. I'm glad you've popped in at the end. I don't feel that you have to be with me all the time. It's just not, it's just don't have to be. But thank you very much for dropping in, Andy. It's always good to see you, my man. And yeah, I don't know what my point with that was. I've completely lost it again. Gone serious, lost my mind. Anyway, that's about it for tonight. Thank you so much for dropping in. Don't forget the 14th. What's the day? Day after tomorrow is my On This Day chart show. It will go on live in the afternoon sometime in the UK. So I hope you watch that. I hope you enjoy it, because if you enjoy it, I'll do more. I don't see no point in doing it if you don't like it. So let me know what you think about that, and I will see you very, very soon. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a good night, good day, wherever you are in the world, and I'll see you next time. Ta-da now.